All right, so I'm Andrew. I'm a realtor here in Southern California, and I'm here with Patty. Patty, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Patty with the Haven Realty Group, and we are here to bring you real estate news.
Absolutely. And today we have Felix Figueroa from Ticor Title, and he's going to talk title with us and what it is, why it's important. And we even have some more specific examples of, title scenarios that have gone on in the past with Patty and Felix, and we're looking forward to it. So Felix, how you doing?
Yes, I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
So happy
Excellent.
you're here.
Yeah, we're excited.
So
So
I've worked with Felix over a decade, and we've gone through quite a few scenarios.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I've only been in contact with Felix now for what, like 6, 7, 8 months. And I've already had to call you on some offshoot stuff. And
Yep.
you've been great with helping us with marketing stuff. So I'd
Awesome.
love to
Thank
get into
you.
that too, about a little bit of marketing. So Felix, why don't you start with telling us a little bit about what you do and title, and then we'll get into some more, crunchy details.
Yeah, definitely. My name is Felix Figueroa. I work with Ticor Title. I've actually been with Ticor for 21 years now, which is crazy. But I'm an area vice president. So I'm your point of contact when you're a real estate lender, escrow. I'm your point of contact, and I work directly with my title team. If you guys have any hiccups or issues on title, you contact me. I then go to my team and make sure that we get it all cleared up, figured out, so that we can close the transaction smoothly. So.
Great.
And the team is amazing, and they're
Thank
always
you.
like spot on it.
Yeah, thank you. And if you want, I can get right into title as far as like what is it and why you need it, right?
Tell somebody who's just a homeowner that's
Okay.
thinking about selling why title's important.
Okay, yeah. So title insurance is it's kind of funny because title insurance is kind of an insurance, but it insures from the date of the transaction backwards. So even though the policy that you purchase when you transfer your property to a new owner is good until that for that new owner, it's good as long as they own the property. But what we're doing for the seller is we're insuring anything from the date they sell that property backwards. And so how that works is we go back and search the property to make sure that there's no existing liens, encroachments, judgments, any of that kind of stuff that might clear our cloud title, so that when we transfer it to the new buyer, they're buying a property that's free and clear of any of those red flags. And that's why title insurance is super important, because if there is a hiccup down the road and you don't have it, you're liable for that hiccup. And that's what Ticor does and all the other title companies do, is if there is a hiccup at some point that somebody missed, we're the ones that will take the responsibility for it, and then we will pay that claim out of whatever that may be. So that's a quick summary of what title.
And then sometimes there are liens that are on your property that you're not even aware of. That's why this is the first thing we do when somebody's talking about listing their home, is we pull a preliminary title report.
Correct. Yeah, and that's a great segment into the next thing. Is a lot of people that we work with are like, well, when should I order a title report? And we always say as soon as possible. If you are taking
number one thing.
Yeah, number one thing. And the reason being is you want to make sure the person that you're talking to is even the owner of the property.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so much fraud out there.
There's so much fraud. In all honesty, we've seen it all at this point in my career, that it's better to be proactive than reactive, and we don't want to hold up any part of the transaction. So I always say, and my team always says, get the title report ordered as soon as possible, so that we can clear any of those. I call it like the grocery list of items that we need to review and make sure that there's not going to be anything that puts an issue on our transaction moving forward when we get into escrow. Because once we get into escrow, we kind of want to be able to just kind of get the things to escrow that they need, and then we're done. So it's just better. Clean. Yeah, it's just better to do it early than do it later and then wonder what happened. So.
And then if you don't, you run into something that could take weeks and weeks to resolve.
Yeah, if not months, right?
So that's why it's, when we do
Paramount.
it, first thing, you got a listing, get the title day one.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't affect anybody. It doesn't notify anybody that you've pulled the report. All it is you doing as an agent, doing your due diligence before we even get to escrow. So by the time we do get to escrow, we've pretty much, cleared up everything that's on there. And if there's nothing on there, then that's even better for you. It's an easier way of like, oh, great, I don't have to worry about anything on title because we've already reviewed it. Now I can, focus on the marketing and all that stuff.
And I want to bring up too, if somebody's is selling their house, even to a family member, you still need title insurance. I had somebody call me last year. His uncle deeded him a piece of property, but they did not have title insurance. And he's like, oh, he did it at the bank. And I'm like, no. And then it was messy, and it's going to cost you less to do it the right way than to try and fix it later. And you're going to have issues selling if you've, like Felix said, if you've got that gap.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to really think about it too. Like, how much does the title policy cost compared to the actual investment, right? So these are, everybody says this is the biggest investment you'll probably make. So it's worth a couple to a few $1,000s, depending on the sales price, to make sure that it's covered, because that's
and that you're covered going forward. So
exactly,
one of our main jobs is to keep people out of court.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why we have an inch thick of paperwork, and they just added like more documents. I got an email this morning to, because we're California, everybody sues everybody.
Yeah, so exactly.
We got to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, you want to be safe on both sides, the seller side, the buyer side.
Absolutely.
And lenders, if you are getting a loan, they're gonna request that it's in the policy is requested as well. So usually, if you're getting a loan, there's no option for a policy. It has to be done. So that's a good thing to know as well if you're on the buyer side.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, I want to tell you guys something that happened with one of my listings a few years ago that Felix helped me with. It was in Laguna Beach, and it was built in 1932. Cool little craftsman, but every picture, Google map, every map looked like our property was encroaching on the one behind. And they called it out on the appraisal. And Felix, actually, we walked the property because the owner's like, the original stakes are out there. So after everybody saying, no, we're not going to, you have to fix this. Felix got the appraiser guy to come out, physically walk the property, which I had never done before. And you could see stakes from 1932. Yeah. And he signed off.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was such a great property. I still to this day remember that property. And yeah, it's that was a special case of, you pull these maps from Google, they're all aerial maps. The lot lines aren't ever accurate. And so, the appraiser had one thing, and then I contacted my team and our underwriter and said, hey, this is the issue, what can we do? And he said, let me order an inspection. And then when the inspector came out, me and Patti were there, and we showed them exactly where those stakes were to our property, and they looked at the maps and all that, and they said, yeah, we're within our area. I don't see any issue with it. So we were able, our underwriting team was comfortable with what their inspector said and said, yeah, we'll insure on this, and we closed the deal, and it was it was awesome. But yeah, it's one of those little things where it could completely have killed the deal. And it 100%. Was just the fact of somebody not really taking the time to go out there and really,
and this falls under
really look at
really matters who you work with.
Yeah.
And the team that surrounds our real estate team is amazing.
Yeah, you guys are. I love your guys' forward thinking and always open for new suggestions, and with marketing and stuff like that. How Andrew was saying, it's always good to throw ideas together, and some of them might not work and some of them will, but you have to
see what sticks.
Yeah, you have to have that camaraderie with each other so that we can, we all win. If everybody's doing well, then everybody wins in the team. So I think that's just it's just a it's a team effort. So I love being a part of your guys' team, and I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, thank you guys.
So we welcome your comments, your questions about title. We would, if you're enjoying this series, please subscribe and stay tuned for more next week. Andrew, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I just wanted to thank Felix for coming on. We'll have him on again for sure, because we can talk about title, we can talk about marketing, which is something we'll want to also do with you again, maybe for more of an agent kind of centered series we want to start too. So, but thank you again. And we look forward to having you again, and thanks for joining.
No, thank you guys again, and hope you have a great weekend.
Awesome.
All right.
See you soon.